Allegheny County's 500 and 500 program, an ambitious housing initiative announced by County Exec Sarah Innamorato about a year ago, remains on track to meet its two primary targets. But county leaders said recently that even if Ms. Inamorato's program, placing 500 people into housing and creating 500 new units in 500 days, succeeds, it's just the start. The need to create more affordable housing for those at risk of becoming homeless remains difficult, especially given potential funding cuts to various programs within the federal budget. Look, let's take a close look. I commend Sarah Innamorato for what she's trying to do, but I also want you to understand federal cuts or no federal cuts. This is a epidemic that is sweeping this country. So many people are on the verge of being homeless, if not already homeless. There's only one way to really solve this. And I know it sounds a whole lot easier than it is because we have gone so far into the abyss. I don't know if we can climb out of it. But we've got to get people working again. Got to get that common denominator, north, south, east, and west of every community in western Pennsylvania, from one side of this country to the next. We've got to get people working every day in a situation that's going to give them 8 hours of work and going to give them a paycheck that will make life affordable. Look, when you think of what the majority of people who came before us had, it was that one common goal, to be able to own a home, have a car, enjoy some family times together, a little downtime, discretionary income, and more importantly, just a pillow to rest your head at night. So much of that has been removed from our society because the decades that we have been spiraling out of control with the lack of a middle class. There is no middle class in this country. There is no foundation in this country for average people to stand on and to have a fighting chance to be able to compete in the real world. So I commend Sarah Innamorato and everyone who's out there fighting for affordable housing. But as I have been saying for the longest time, the only way you have affordable housing is to make it possible for people to be able to afford to buy a house. And how does that come? It comes to fruition very simply by having a paycheck that every 2 weeks you go to the bank, you cash, you put some in your checking, you put some in your savings, and you put some in your pocket. And you go about paying your monthly bills, living your life, knowing what you have to spend, and you live within your means. But you have to have a paycheck that can withstand all of the things that people have to go through. And until that happens in America and we get back on that solid foundation of the middle class, everything will remain unaffordable. So let's get back to that middle class and make it affordable.